Hi, it's Brian with Alan Carpenter, and today I'm going to be answering your questions about product defect cases and specifically about water beads. One of the biggest challenges with water beads is that when they're dry, they can be the size of a BB. But as they are put in water, they can grow to over 100 times what their original size was. And when a small child ingests a water bead, the most common situation is that it results in a bowel obstruction. The other problem with this injuries is they're really hard to diagnose. A lot of times the baby will present like he or she has got the flu or some type of gastrointestinal virus, and they'll go to the hospital. Oftentimes they'll be given IV fluids and Zofran or an anti-nausea medication and sent home. But parents will see that the vomiting and discomfort doesn't resolve, and so they go back to the hospital, sometimes several times before they ultimately get a diagnosis. And that's usually done through a CT scan where they can finally see the water beads inside. Unfortunately, to get the water beads out, it usually involves a surgery where they cut open the belly below the navel and go into the intestines and remove the water beads, sometimes resulting in dead or necrotic tissue being removed in what's called a bowel resection. Often, children recover well from these surgeries, but there's some difficult times while they're being treated. The surgery can be scary and sometimes difficult to diagnose, but in the end, babies can often recover well from a bowel resection. Water beads have several different manufacturers, both in the United States and abroad, often in China. And one of the challenges with the dangerousness of water beads is that it's difficult to know what they're made of. Sometimes they are labeled as non-toxic, even though in reality they do have some toxic chemicals in them. One of the most challenging or toxic chemicals that are used in water beads is called acrylamide. Acrylamide, when it's in the body for a long period of time, can result in something called toxicity. That toxicity can result in some pretty significant and severe long-term injuries that can affect a person's cognitive function, a person's physical function, and those can have long-term effects both while the child is growing up, but also into adulthood. Over the years, water beads have been marketed and packaged in a variety of different ways, ranging from them being packaged and marketed as a craft item. Sometimes they were marketed as a therapy item for tactile therapy. Sometimes they did include warnings on them, and those warnings have some impact on a person's ability to bring a claim. But because the warnings are usually insufficient or inadequate, and also don't fully describe the dangers and the risks of water beads to especially infants and young children, a person can still bring an injury claim against both potentially the manufacturer and the retailer of the water beads. Traditionally, in product defect cases, an injured party can bring a claim against any entity that's in the stream of commerce. That can be a manufacturer or a retailer. In the past, it's been difficult to hold online marketplaces like Amazon liable for dangerous products that are sold through their website. However, in recent years, there have been some novel theories that we've been able to pursue in holding Amazon accountable for defective products, dangerous products, even when the manufacturer is overseas or even unknown, and what we call a ghost manufacturer. We can hold Amazon responsible for dangerous products that are sold on their platform. In order to pursue any product defect claim, the first thing that's important to do is to preserve evidence of when and how the product was purchased. So whether that's in a brick and mortar store, keep the receipt, keep the packaging, or take some photographs of the packaging, especially the warnings or the instructions. And as it relates to Amazon specifically, you can go back in your purchase history and print an invoice that will include a transaction number. That number can be used to identify and confirm that the product was purchased online and when it was purchased. And the same thing with an Amazon purchase, to be able to print from Amazon whatever information and photographs are available from the Amazon sales information and from the product itself. When a child is injured by a defective product, they're entitled to bring a claim for damages or compensation. Damages for young children injured by defective products can also include reimbursement for medical expenses in the past, but also in the future, as well as any other needs they may have as a result of their injuries. When a minor settles an injury claim, it of course needs court approval, and those funds are typically put into a court-restricted account, or the funds can be used to purchase an annuity or a stream of payments in the future that will help compensate them and defray any future costs that they may have for any injury-related needs. When your young child or infant suffers a serious injury, it can be a scary time. Here at Allen Carpenter, we have the resources and the knowledge to help you through this difficult time. You can call us anytime at 480-808-5075. You can also check our website, allencarpenter.com, where you'll find additional information about water bead injury cases specifically and product defect cases.